Which leads us to a few new questions, Mr. Porterson, starting with why did you lie to us about your relationship with Miss Kennelly?
What relationship? Do you have a relationship with everybody you talk to on the phone? We've become friends, casually, is all. I didn't lie, I just played that down because I knew you'd take it wrong, which you are. I've just, been trying to lend her a sympathetic ear. She can use it after the abuse that bastard boyfriend of hers dishes out. Well, no, not specifically, but abused women are always afraid to reveal what's going on. They cover up for the abuser. Hell, you know that better than I do. But I have eyes. Even if I hadn't had medical training, a bruise is a bruise. And all the makeup at all the cosmetic counters in town couldn't conceal those contusions. And her manner, my God, she was scared to death of that brute. Must be a couple days ago? Of course, I talked to her on the phone just today. She was in a bad place where this, I can barely stand to say, marriage to that monster is concerned. Listen, I couldn't be more pleased that you're looking after Carrie's welfare, but if you want my DNA, you'll need to jump through the proper legal hoops. I know firsthand about labs screwing up, and I'd want every I dotted and T crossed before we took that step. Sorry. I have nothing else to say. I have nothing else to say.
What's up? Need a hint?
I have nothing else to say.
Once you got enough evidence, I'll hit up a judge.
I have nothing else to say.
We've done all we can with that evidence right now. Doc Robbins might be able to help with this.
I've got nothing new to report on the Vic.
We've done all we can with that evidence right now. We've done all we can with that evidence right now. We've done all we can with that evidence right now. We've done all we can with that evidence right now. Try that on the comparison microscope. These don't match. It's all about the little things, tiny differences between them. Be confident you've got a match before asking me for a confirmation. These don't match. It's all about the little things, tiny differences between them. Be confident you've got a match before asking me for a confirmation. We've done all we can with that evidence right now.
I have nothing else to say.
Is this how you find out what happened to Carrie? Accuse the one who loves her of crap like this? This is slander, and this is America, and I... Who said I did? What, that stick-up-her-butt sister of hers? You believe that self-serving psycho?
So the charges are unfounded.
Listen, this is personal, so I'd appreciate it if... What was your name? Sarah? You're a nice-looking woman. Hey, I don't mean to step over any line here, but grown-ups know about these things.
Is that right?
I didn't mean any offense. It's just that icicle sister of hers doesn't understand what happens behind a bedroom door between two people who love each other in a, passionate kind of way. What, you never had a hickey, honey?
That line you didn't mean to step over, Mr. Dubois? You just did.
Come on, I never hit Carrie out of anger. Hey, I like it a little rough, so does she. She's of age. She's with me of her own free will. I love her, okay? I would never hurt her in a hurtful way. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Well, if you're back, it must be to thank me for pointing you toward that scumbag Dubois. Whatever happened to Carrie has to be that bastard's fault.
Seems they were into rough sex, behind closed doors. Strictly consensual.
And you're just going to take that abusive son of a bitch at his word.
Mr. Porterson, you're the one we've caught in a lie. What makes you a more reliable source than Dubois? Starting to think Alex ought to cut back on the caffeine. Let's help ourselves to a cup of Joe. His cup. If we're lucky, we might be able to get prints and a DNA sample off of it. That's not right for this. That's not right for this. Funny, isn't it? How sometimes a DNA sample is just waiting for you in a public place. The trace analysis computer is the place for that. Matches Alex Porterson's hospital employee records. Not exactly a shock. Whoa. Looks like the male nurse has been exercising his bedside manner on Carrie's couch. Seems like you've been lending her more than a sympathetic ear.
Okay, look. I know this looks bad, but if you just think about it 1 second, you'll understand. I mean, do you really think I want that anger management class reject Dubois, knowing that I'm seeing his intended? Who knows what that psychopath is capable of? Well, I did talk to her briefly on the phone, but I've been here at the hospital on shift since 8 this morning.
Say what?
Did you have any prior knowledge of this?
This isn't a topic I care to discuss with strangers. I'm out of here.
Well, let's hope he's not on his way to see Alex Porterson and create a new crime scene for us. And much as I'd love to fine-comb this place, Dubois being gone doesn't erase our need for a warrant.
Once you got enough evidence, I'll hit up a judge.
What do you think happened? And hey, thanks for sharing my secrets with that ape, Dubois. I'm lucky he didn't kill me. In fact, he threatened as much. Said, I'll kill your ass too.
Almost a confession.
I was alone in the break room when he caught up with me. I just thought he'd get in my face and that would be the end of it. And when he knocked me down, I was stunned. He was gone before I could yell for help. I did call hospital security, though. I probably shouldn't have.
Because having your relationship with a patient's daughter come out isn't so cool, is it?
I haven't done anything inappropriate. Damn, you people find out I've been assaulted and climb all over my ass? Why is it I pay taxes again? Fortunately, hospital security called the police, and they caught up with that asshole in the parking lot. You should be able to check on that yourself. You still think I'm a liar or something.
Mr. Dubois is already a guest in lockup. He assaulted Nurse Porterson last night, as you probably already know. Shall we have a chat with the hot-tempered lad?
I didn't attack him. If I'd attacked him, he'd know it, and so would you. I took it easy on that nerdy little creep, hitting on Carrie like that.
As opposed to the way you hit on her? Are you saying you had no suspicion Carrie was seeing another guy?
Well, yeah, I guess I did. You can always tell when your, significant other's got something on their mind, but I wrote that off to pre-wedding jitters. How could I have imagined a toothpick like that twerp Porterson was my competition?
Had to hurt. Who could blame you for getting mad?
Killer? Oh, no. Oh, God, no. I admit I got a jealous streak, but I would never take it out on her. Give a creep like that Porterson an ass-kicking, sure, but I wouldn't even kill a maggot like that, let alone the woman I love, and I do love her. But we don't know she's dead. We're not writing her off as dead, are we? Are you? You're not letting this go, are you? I was at home watching TV. Then I went over to her place at midnight. That's all there is to it.
Anybody see you leave?
Probably not. I used the stairwell.
If I were in your shoes, I'd want an alibi.
You got enough evidence for a search. I'll hit up a judge.
Nothing here that will help us. We've got one child here with no family resemblance. This set of knives came from a high-end cutlery shop. But this other one, it's just a plain old Slice Co. Bloody surface, serrated edge. Could this be the weapon we've been searching for? Funny thing to file away. And it wasn't even under S. Not to talk trash about Mr. Dubois, but let's get to the lab and see what brand of bag he prefers. We've got a match to a Nevada Gaming Commission card. Lucy Kennelly. Wonder what she was doing around Michael Dubois' apartment. Those two brag about hating each other. The blood on the knife matches our Vic. I wonder if Dubois will try to write this off to rough sex play. Now we know what tool was used at Carrie's apartment to break open the drawer.
He's on his way to interrogation now.
I know you think I'm some sort of mouth breather, but I'm actually a man of means and taste. I said I was an amateur chef. I wouldn't demean my kitchen with cheap tools like that.
Maybe so, but that's where we found it. In your kitchen. Maybe it walked in of its own accord. By the way, lab tells us your fiance's blood is all over it.
Well, it may be her blood, but it's not my knife. I go in for the best. I can afford to spoil myself, and I do. Are you deaf or stupid or both? You shouldn't be looking at me. You should be asking yourself, who put that junk blade in my shiny kitchen? I can tell you one thing, Carrie has knives like that. That sister of hers gave them to her, which shows you how little that bitch really cares about her. Lucy probably just lifted them from the double dip. It's the kind of low-end cutlery their restaurant uses. Other than Carrie and me, I don't know. You'd have to check with the building manager. It's janitor.
Someone hid it in a file folder. It was used to pry open a desk drawer in Carrie Kennelly's apartment.
Looking for something?
A screwdriver and a file folder? Why don't you put it back and file it under screwed over by the cops?
Why don't you try leveling with us? Or you could be screwing yourself, Mr. Dubois, right into death row.
I came in, I saw that bloody mess. At that moment, for some stupid reason, I flashed onto this desk drawer Carrie had always kept locked from me, never tell me what was in it, drove me nuts, thinking the woman I loved, the woman I was going to marry, thought it was right keeping something from me. So I ran to my truck, grabbed my screwdriver to pry the drawer open. I was looking for love letters or some such. Didn't really know, just had to know what was so damn secret. Only it was empty. I shut it. Felt very stupid about it, okay? And then I called the police.
So after you got back to your apartment, you hid the screwdriver in a place you thought we wouldn't find it. You thought wrong.
Compelling stuff. I can call that judge with a clear conscience and get that search warrant.
key look like the one we found in Carrie's apartment? Well, this is definitely not Mr. Dubois' day. These records show profits from Mr. Dubois' bookmaking operation. Maybe this is the leverage Lucy Kennelly was talking about. Fairly wide gauge needles. I wonder what she needs these for. Schuyler Progressive Hospital. That's where her dad was. Nice work. Look at our sweet, innocent heiress have been putting in her veins.
Hey, Grissom asked me to check up on you guys. Crack this sucker yet?
Who was it that said curiouser and curiouser?
Probably Grissom, quoting Lewis Carroll. What's the latest curiosity?
Well, seems Carrie has this thing for needles and the people who have access to them.
Into drugs.
Initial report from the bloodbath in her apartment was negative. We're about to run this new sample by Doc Robbins.
If tox turns up clean here, too, then you need to ask yourself, if our Vic wasn't shooting up, what were those needles for?
Morrison's prints. Not too surprising if this box did come from that hospital. Yes, an exact match to the key to Michael Dubois' apartment. So there was a third person with access.
Consider it done. Check back for the results. I have clean. No drugs indicated at all. Then what was Carrie using needles for?
He's on his way to interrogation now.
What? Listen, this is supposed to be a missing persons deal or a murder. What does this have? How did... Found my records, huh? Thought I'd misplaced them, or maybe Carrie had taken them.
Is that the real reason you decided to break into her desk before calling the police?
Okay, it is. But so what? That doesn't mean I killed her, beat her bloody or anything. I just saw all that red everywhere and knew you people would give the place the treatment. And if those records were there, better I found them than you. But I didn't find them, and you did. Where? Lucy's office. What the... Why in the... I have no idea. Unless that bitch stole them for some sick reason.
Bookmaking outside the system is frowned on even in a gambling town like Vegas, especially in a gambling town like Vegas. You need to keep better track of your records.
She had a key to my... Damn it! Is there anything that conniving little monster won't do? How should I know how she got the key? Stole it from her sister, maybe. I sure as hell didn't give it to her. Like to wring her scrawny little neck.
Not the smartest thing to say in front of a homicide detective.
Oh, just popped out. I have this tendency to, let off steam. Wouldn't you be wound a little tight if you'd had the day I had? This morning I'd have said that was crazy, the idea she'd do drugs. Now, what do I know? Up is down, down is up, black is white, white is sure frickin' truce.
Yep, that hypodermic needle ought to inject some confidence in a judge. Let's go.
So you found those. Need any further convincing that this guy is a total pawn scum? I took them from his apartment, yes, because I wanted something to really show my father what sort of lowlife his precious little girl was getting ready to marry. A blessed union that stood to taint our family and our business with guilt by association.
I'd have thought you wanted to protect your sister from a lowlife like Dubois.
Carrie was past listening to reason, and I don't remember when she ever listened to me. Meek though she seems, she makes her own choices. My responsibility is the business my father worked so hard to build. Stopped in one day to deliver a copy of my father's will to Carrie, only she wasn't in. I have a spare key for her apartment for emergencies. Whatever squabbles we might have, we're still family. Anyway, I went in and stumbled across that spare key to Dubois' apartment. Thinking fast, I went out to my car and got some ski wax out of the trunk, made an impression, and had a key made that very afternoon.
So you helped yourself to a good hard look around his apartment.
The guy is slime, and you know it, and I know it. I knew damn well I'd find something on him. Frankly, I expected to find drugs, but what I did find works just as well to demonstrate what an amoral loser Carrie hooked up with. Plant a... No. I didn't go there to plant anything. I just looked for evidence of his low-life character.
So you had a key, and you knew Carrie was getting everything in your father's will. Perfect opportunity to get rid of Sis and claim your rightful share of the family fortune, especially with that scumbag fiance just waiting to be fit for a frame.
Listen carefully. Carrie and I have had our problems. I don't like her, okay? But she's my sister, and I love her. I would sooner kill myself than harm her. And anyway, why would I? She already signed the casino over to me. I found those needles at Carrie's place when I was dropping off the will, remember? They disturbed me, obviously. If she got herself involved in drugs, I'd have to... I don't know what. Certainly, I intended to confront her about it.
Is that why you left that note?
Well, I was pretty angry. I figured with all the opportunities Carrie had heaped upon her in her short life to get involved with drugs, and that's what I assumed, though I suppose it could have been an illness or something. Anyway, I was bent out of shape, out of concern for her. I don't have anything else to say to you.
How should I know? She could have taken them from the hospital on one of her visits to her father, couldn't she?
Your fingerprints are on the box.
I work at the hospital. Could be a coincidence. I wouldn't put it past her, getting in my locker and taking them from there.
Keeping needles in your locker, that's standard for a nurse?
Hell, I keep all kinds of things in my locker. Not storing, more like dropping stuff off when I'm on my way to here or coming from there, you know.
We're talking employee locker? Here at the hospital?
I suppose we are. No big deal, right? Don't you have a locker at work?
What's up? Need a hint?
Nice work. Time to breathe some fresh air into that locker of his and see what he's hiding. I'll call a judge.
familiar. Inside smells like blood.
They aren't Carrie's, though I can see why you might assume that. You see, a patient came through the ER today, covered in blood, and I was supposed to incinerate those, but I knew I wouldn't have time till later, so I just stuffed them in my locker. I told you, a lot of things get dropped off there. I'm a busy guy.
I see. So if we test that blood, it'll match your ER patient and not Carrie Kennelly?
One would think.
So Dubois had the same brand of trash bags as the torn fragment we found at the crime scene. They are a common brand, so it's by no means proof. Michael and Carrie had access to these. Anyone else? This may have started out as a tomato juice jug. What did Alex do? It wound up filled with another kind of red.
Like Grissom says, blood tells, and all the telling stems from Alex Portison's locker. Let's talk to him. I'm sure you could come up with some really interesting lies for us, Alex, but let's try the truth. It should be interesting enough.
They're Carrie's clothes, all right. Carrie's blood. It's all Carrie's.
Where is Carrie Kennelly?
If you and Carrie ever really were friends, cut her family a break. They deserve the truth.
Motel across town.
You left her body in a motel room? It wouldn't have taken us long before we found her. The smell alone.
You don't get it. You're just not that smart.
I'll work real hard at it, Alex. Educate me.
She's not dead. Carrie Kennelly is not dead.
Not dead? All that blood.
You mean you haven't put it all together yet? I mean, you found the jug and the needles, right? I didn't kill Carrie. Carrie killed Carrie.
Are you prepping an insanity plea?
You have to understand. Carrie was born with a silver spoon, but a tarnished one. She's pretty, and her father is famous, and that made her and everything she did tabloid fodder. She had this thing for bad boys, and she took more beatings than a Persian carpet. Her life in a fishbowl really got to her. She wanted a simpler life, but her daddy wanted her to take over the casino, a business Carrie hated. Why Mr. Kennelly refused to consider Lucy, who for all her faults had worked hard for him, I couldn't say. Maybe Lucy wanted it a little too much. And one day, Carrie woke up and she had a dying daddy waiting to burden her with more responsibility than she could ever face. Not to mention a sister who hated her guts, and an upcoming marriage that promised to make her the battered wife poster girl. Lucy, her father, Dubois, they all underestimated her. Behind those blue eyes and that placid personality, Carrie is a clever girl. And she knew she couldn't just leave, or else Dubois and her father would come looking for her. She figured she only had one way out, to fake her own death. It would require some minor plastic surgery and a change of hair color, and a lot of planning and a hell of a lot of nerve. But she relished the thought of putting one over on all these control freaks just ruining her life.
So she met you, a male nurse, with medical knowledge and a sympathetic style, and the two of you saved her blood. It must have taken months.
Ms. Sidle, you're a clever young woman yourself. We drew out only a bit at a time. We stored it in the juice jug you found in the freezer. She slowly thawed it, and then she splashed her blood around everywhere, creating a crime scene that would inevitably lead to her being declared dead.
Then she brought you her bloody clothes to destroy them in the hospital incinerator.
Yes, but then I screwed up. Got busy at work, not daring to attract undue attention, and haven't had a chance to get those clothes to the incinerator, particularly not with you people underfoot so much. Then you beat me to them.
Why do I think it was your idea to use the knife to frame Dubois?
Well, you're correct about that, Captain. That wasn't like Carrie at all. Took some real convincing. But I couldn't risk him coming after us, not with his temper. And anyway, I convinced her that her murder would be more real if someone paid for it. And that abusing bastard deserved it. I think she felt good about knowing he would never beat up on a woman again.
So what was the plan, after you fooled the world into accepting Carrie's death?
We're in love, Captain. Neither one of us care a damn about the money, just each other. She'd pulled enough out of her accounts to give us a start. We were heading to Aruba to make a new life together.
Well, you won't need money where you'll be going, and you won't be together. You see, just because Dubois is a woman-beating asshole, that doesn't make it cool to frame him for murder. What motel and what room, Alex?
You investigated every possible angle on this case. Doesn't happen often, but I'm very impressed.